Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things, Monday through Friday at noon, lunchtime fun. I hope you guys are having a great day. Boy, do we got a great show for you today. First of all, it's Wednesday, the 29th of January. January is coming to an end real quick, folks, and I hope you guys are having a great day. If you're watching the show for the first time, it is Monday through Friday. We have guests on Wednesdays and Fridays. Monday, it's just me. Tuesday, Twisted Tuesday with Carol Brandolino. Thursday, my lovely wife, Laura Ocean, is my co-host, and you guys are with us today. We got some great guys, some great solid musicians. They're all together forming a great group called The Show Must Go On. And if you know the song, you know it's called Three Dog Night. That's what we're talking about. So we got Jim Palucci, everybody. We got Joe and Bobby Scumacci, the dynamic duo right there. And we got Dave Huizinga. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We got, good God, first of all, check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, and give us a call at 847-769 to book a show. Every show is dedicated to the first responders, our people from the military. Thank you so much for our people from the veterans, of course. Thank you for making America great again. Guys, we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a good time. It's fun. Now, it's showtime. Let's go to work.
Forget about it.
Yep, thanks, my good buddies from Seventh Heaven for that great intro. Gotta love it. Hey, gotta like the boys from Seventh Heaven. All right, guys, it's great. It's Ocean's Pit. We're so excited about everything going on. But before that, let's get right to our sponsor. And you're talking about Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, Mesa, Arizona. Love is in the air. Surprise your Valentine and Carhartt clothes. All Carhartt jackets, vests, crew neck sweaters are now 30% off at all your JRC Hardware locations. Add some love to your front yard and a decorative Valentine's Day garden stakes. A lot of good fun here at your GRC Ace Hardware. Also, President Day sale, February 5th to the 17th. They have a bunch of stuff going on. How about buy 2 free 1 gallon gallons of Clark and Kensington Mongolian Home Royal paints are just 20% off. All our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. All right, it's a good day, folks. Tonight we'll be at Rosario's in Roselle. That's a 7 o'clock hit with Double T, Tony Toto. Tomorrow will be at Positano's in Oak Brook with Jerry Jams and the return of Lisa P. from Florida. That's where she is. Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse, and Saturday, Bellagio with the main event band. That's a 7:30 hit. All right, we're talking about Three Dog Night. We're talking about fun. We're talking about great music. And I got some great gentlemen here. But before we go, one more sponsor, if we can. Let's talk about, of course, our good friend Mary Grievous for all your real estate needs. That's right. Mary Grievous is doing it right, folks. Don't just call her when you're ready to buy. Call her when you're ready to sell. Contact her if you're considering buying. Your forever agent, Mary Grievous at Mary M. Grievous at StarkRE.com. Available as buyers, sellers, for sale by owners, expired listings. 630-688-1725. That's Mary Grievous. That's Berkshire Stark Hathaway Real Estate, doing all your fun. And if you want to know that Mary does a great job with real estate, how about what else she does? We're talking about the NTD Vacations. And when you talk about NTD Vacations, you got to talk about the Chicago Music Cruise. That's coming up, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Coming up March 22nd to March 30th. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, Oasis of the Seas. It's our second one with Seventh Heaven. The first one sold out with 7,000 people. This one is the Royal Caribbean Oasis of the Seas. It's 8 days instead of 6 days. It is Fort Lauderdale, Carousel, Aruba, and Cocoa Key, Bahamas. Mojo's Jukebox, my rock band, will be joining me, of course, and the Tony Ocean Band, the main event band. Jersey Girls, Scott Childers from WGN, Britney Spears Experience, and the Marilyn Monroe tribute from our good friend Wendy Thompson. Hillbilly Rock Stars, the #1 country band in the city of Chicago. Frankie Boom Boom Hollywood Rodriguez, and Seventh Heaven, all of us, 8 days. ChicagoMusicCruise.com, or go to Mary Grievous at 630-688-1725 and tell them Tony O sent you. All right, we got the boys from The Show Must Go On. Jim Palucci, ladies and gentlemen, David Huizenga, and Joe and Bobby Scumaci. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing today?
Good. Great.
Good.
Great. What a boy. It's so nice to see you guys. This is a cool thing, man. And let's get right to Jimmy. Jimmy, you started this. How did this all come about?
Oh, God, about a year ago, I had a vision of that we needed a good Three Dog Night band. And I approached Dave Huizenga, and he said, you put the band together, I'm in. And then I ran into Joe Scumaci, and we talked about it, and a couple of weeks later, I got a phone call from him. He said, you know what? I would like to do this project. And he says, I got my brother on keys, and we just went and got the right guys. We got Mark Ott, who's on drums, who was actually played with Three Dog Night, also toured with Dave Mason, just as Bobby Scumaci did. So the nucleus of the band came together, Dave Gans, Joe Racha, and they sound fabulous. And I'll let them do the rest of the talking.
Well, it's great what you guys are doing. And let's start with Dave. Dave Huizenga, how you doing, Dave? I know you got a lot of stuff that you're doing individually yourself. Taking on Three Dog Night, like I said before we went on, you can mention all these great songs, Joy to the World, Old Fashioned Love Song. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
It does.
And unfortunately, when it comes to Three Dog Night, just like I was saying about my Cheap Trick group, when you say Cheap Trick to somebody, they like 2 or 3 songs they know. After that, they have no clue how many great songs. And the people don't realize how many great songs Three Dog Night have. So what do you think when you got into the band? And Chuck Negrin, great voice. Corey Wells, great voice. Danny Hutton, of course. What's your take on the whole Three Dog Night thing? Why do you think they were so popular?
Well, excuse me. I was so taken back in the day. When they hit in 1969, I was a very enthusiastic rocker, and we were playing the Wild Gooses around town. I'm talking late 60s. When in 1969, I hear the song One, their first hit, climbing the charts. And here they were coming to actually Waukegan. And it was a club that we had played quite a bit, and saw them up there and was completely blown away, excuse me, by 3 lead male vocals. I just hadn't seen that before. Of course, I was only 16, but my point is at that time, there was nothing like it. The fashion, the energy that the musicians brought. I mean, it was just seeing them live at that age was an unforgettable experience. And the thought of someday, and through the years, I've done some Three Dog covers, as probably all of us have.
Sure, right.
In our various bands coming up. But the thought of actually getting to dedicate a night and a show to this very original concept of these 3 male, very charismatic frontmen and great vocalists. It was just a thrill. So I'm really glad Jim came to me. We've been friends for a while, but at the time he said it took about a year or whatever. We all have so much kind of going on. I just thought, well, if you get something going, let me know. And when I heard about who was coming on board, I couldn't wait.
Well, you know what? You guys got a very impressive band behind you guys. Of course, we're talking about The Show Must Go On. They got a big show coming up Friday, January 31st. It's going to be at the Stage 119 in Elmhurst. It's $10 at the door, folks. Our good buddy Tony Capone kicks off at 7 o'clock, and then you're going to get The Show Must Go On at probably about 8:30, 8:45, something like that. But then you got the Scumaci brothers, who are legends alone in the Chicagoland area. And a lot of things they've done. Bobby and Joe, this is great. Three Dog Night, 21 Billboard top hits. between 69 and 1975. They had 3 #1 hits. The musicianship has got to be out of the wall when you're covering a band like this. So let's start with you, Bobby. I mean, keys like that. What's your input on the whole thing?
So Jimmy Greenspoon, the original keyboardist from Three Dog Night, was it was a big idol of mine. That was the records we were spinning in, I guess, the early '70s. That Hammond organ and the Fender Rhodes, the Wurlitzer sound. So I was definitely into that. And we were listening to their versions of some of the songs that later Dave Mason had wrote the "Feeling All Right" song. They covered that.
Right. Yeah.
I was trying to find all those covers and listen to them. But Jimmy was an extraordinary, rest in peace, Jimmy, but an extraordinary Hammond organ player. And I think this was a great opportunity for me to seem like second nature to go and play these songs with this band and this lineup. Again, like you were saying earlier, Mark Ott driving the band behind us, and Joe Rocca on bass, and David Gans, just a real good lineup. I was very impressed by Three Dog. All the hits, like you said, you sit in the audience and we sit on the stage and like, oh, I remember this song, Family and Man. Right. I remember one. And just that was
but you're right. You didn't know that was Three Dog Night. I mean, Liar. Of course, Black and White, of course, was a big hit. One, Show Must Go On, Eli's Coming. There's so many of there. One of my favorites has never been to Spain.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one. Shambhala is one of my favorites. Let's go over to you, Joe. I mean, great voice that you have. You've been doing singing for so long in the Chicagoland area. What's your take on the whole Three Dog Night thing? And let's just go. Do you felt with Three Dog Night changed a little bit after Chuck Negrin either got let go or quit, whatever the story is? What was your take on all that?
Well, dipping way back when Bobby and I were playing together as kids and with one of our other brothers, we were already touching on the Three Dog Night songs. I mean, we grew up well versed in a lot of types of music because of our father, who was also an entertainer. So we were a little bit into everything, but quite honestly, the classic rock, the Eagles, the Doobie Brothers, Little River Band, soft rock, maybe a little harder here and there. So it was second nature to love Three Dog Night. And back when we were kids, we were already doing Joy to the World and One in a few of those songs.
Yeah, sure.
And Joe, all those bands you just mentioned,
are
all heavy vocal.
Bands. And I've always been into that. I was also a keyboardist back in the day. Bobby's a multi-instrumentalist, but when we played together, I was actually playing piano and keys as well. But then just went to just voice. But I was really into vocal groups. So when Little River Band and things like that, I just absolutely loved. And a lot of the R&B bands I was into, Four Tops and things like that.
Sure.
So Bobby and I, for a long time, because we've played together here and there, and then we've gone our separate ways here and there, we were always contemplating maybe one of these days we're going to do something like that. Eagles, Little River Band, whatever. So when Jim approached me, we knew each other for a while, and he mentioned it. I said, I immediately my mind said, I'd love to do that. Thought about it a little bit, and that's when I called Jim and said, yeah, count me in, and I'll talk to Bobby and Mark and stuff. So I absolutely, for me, it's sort of like full circle. Number one, I get to play with Bobby again, because through the years we've played together, and then we went our separate ways, and now performing with him again, and all these other fantastic musicians. And Mark and I've been buds for 30 years as well. And to do the songs I grew up on and powerful vocals, it's just like a full circle thing here. I'm loving it.
Everybody's going to be excited about this group. Like I said, I respect you guys individually for many years, and now putting this thing together, which is fantastic. Like I said, this is going to be your second show as a group, if I'm correct. This one's going to happen this Friday on the 31st at the Stage 119 in Elmhurst. And if you can't make that one, folks, they also want coming up March 2nd. They'll be at the Lyric Theater in Blue Island, which is another incredible theater. We've been at the Rat Pack shows, done there many times. So it's fantastic. So let's get back to you, Dave. With all these great songs, did you feel you followed them when Chuck Negrin left? Did the band change at all, you think, when it just became with just those two, when it was just Corey and Danny then?
Well, as far as their live show, um,
Yeah,
you're referring to, yeah. I
yeah,
I did try and stay in touch with them as they would come about, and I certainly, having seen the three together, and I certainly missed Chuck's presence. The guitarist that they took on certainly cover vocals, great lead
yeah.
player. I think he may have come on bass first and then went to lead.
The guitar,
Um,
yeah.
but they've got for their live show that they've continued to carry on even the present day. Um, they but they cover it and they do it well. But I think when they lost Corey, sadly,
Oh yeah.
that
Definitely.
it was just time. That
Is the
sound.
band, is Danny Hunt, is the band still going on with just other singers and they keep
They
doing the
are.
thing? And that was
Yeah.
the next question I was going to ask. Let's go to you, Bobby, on this. Right now, it seems to be, here's a perfect example. The Rat Pack sold out the Impact Fuel Room in Libertyville. It's a great room. And we just did it 2 weeks ago. We sold it out. And I was talking to the owner. He always said he'd bring in national acts. But now everybody seems to be going to the tribute acts. You guys are seeing this everywhere. The Arcada Theater, I mean, everywhere you go. I mean, when Louisiana, that we just did that. It's amazing how many people like the tribute acts. Are you, and at one time, and I know you guys probably, it was a tribute act. It was like a no good because we all try to do our original stuff back in the day. Look at those idiots doing the Beatles or those idiots doing Genesis, right? The tribute band was like a cover band with some original bands back then. Oh, you're doing covers. What are they? We're going to make it on our hits, and which obviously a lot of bands didn't do that. But it's big right now. And Bobby, what's your take on that? Why do you think it's so big right now?
Well, I think people still love the music, and for us to be able to bring it to them and present it properly. One of the things that Jim Paluch went and did is bought a Hammond organ with the Leslie and said to me it would be there every show. That kind of put the door open for me. I'm like, all right, I'm really interested now. But also too, I was thinking about what you were just saying, Tony, and even with the years of Dave Mason, and I have a great deal of respect for Dave. Him and I have stayed tight throughout the years, and Mark also in this band, and him and I, we go to David's shows when he's in town. I was playing covers back then when I was touring with him. So I kind of put it as this: if the first hamburger was a White Castle, was everybody else after that a cover burger? I'm just curious because
Good point. That makes a lot of sense, and it's good. So I like that. That's great. You got, ladies and gentlemen, we are watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. We got the band. The show must go on, and of course, it's a tribute to Three Dog Night, and the songs go. There's going to be so many great songs, but let's get to Joe on this. Joe, you go see a band right now, and there's the original singer's not there. Does that bother you?
It becomes to the point, because let's take it, and I love them all, and even you got to give kudos to all the guys who are taking over the other spots. They're talented in general, but let's take somebody like Foghat. There are no original players in the band anymore.
Correct.
The drummer from the last time I knew about them, which was a few years ago when I used to work with Uncle Mike on festivals, running lights on the weekends if I wasn't performing. The drummer took over the band, took over the name, and now it's basically a cover band.
Wasn't it like for a while Jerry Shirley? Wasn't he like the original drummer, if I'm correct?
Yes.
And he just went out and did tours with Sid Foghat with Jerry Shirley. But I mean, when you go see Journey now, there's the Filipino guy. I forgot his name. Great voice, but of course, it's never going to be Steve Perry.
Don't forget Foreigner.
Yeah, or look at Foreigner, right? I mean, Kelly Hansen has been in that band for 25 years. He's been in the band longer than Lou Gramm has. One thing that was really shocked me is there's a band called Sweet. I'm sure you guys remember the band Sweet from the 70s, Fox on the Run, Ballroom Blitz, one of my favorite bands of all time. But there's right now, I didn't realize you can lease the name. You don't never have to been in the band. You can take 4 guys and lease the name Sweet, and you can go out and play all over the country.
Wow.
Well, if none of the original players have a copyright or whatever it's called, reserve on the name, obviously somebody else can grab it. But there's usually one guy. Let's take Little River Band for instance, and there's a lot of good things on the internet to read about it. The Wayne, the bass player. Well, I'm Italian. I talk with my hands. Okay.
He's got paint on his hands because we're working.
So Wayne took over the band. Wayne's been in the band a long time, the bass player, phenomenal talent, vocals and all. But he took over Little River Band a few years ago and actually took over the name as well. So now Wayne goes out. He's Little River Band. No other original players in the band. And quite honestly, Wayne's not original either. They're phenomenal, but they're basically, Wayne's the only one closest to being one of the original players in the band. Still a great group to go see, but in essence, it's a cover band.
I guess I feel that way about Styx too. They're still putting on a tremendous show. It's not Dennis, and we all grew up with Dennis DeYoung singing. Yeah. He's amazing.
Sure.
But thank God that they were able to move on with whatever happened, which is probably none of our business. But I went to see them a couple years back in Rockford, and man, I was blown away.
Tommy and James are still original.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy.
There's some bands still out there, folks. But look, we got Mike. We got a lot of entertainers. Vince Amore, how you doing, Vince? Mike Buckley, of course, of the Taylor Swift Experience and Good Clean Fun. Michael is also with a member of Hermits with Peter Noon. Mike, good point. And Mike and Trace are going to be on the show this Friday with their special tribute, of course, to Taylor Swift, the Taylor Swift Experience. Are you ready? But Michael says, when is the band not a band anymore? I mean, that's the question. When there's nobody there anymore,
when people stop wanting to see that music, I think that's the key. If they're not interested in Three Dog Night, if they're not interested in whatever band it is, then those guys maybe just stop touring. When people stop buying tickets, however, as we see in Polestar, these guys are still
everybody.
They're killing it.
Everything we all grew up on is still killing it out there, whether it's one original member or not.
It's big too, right?
It's the music.
Dave, let's get back to you, Dave. What kind of so what the people haven't seen the show? I think you had one before. This will be your second show together as a group. The show must go on. By the way, I love the piano, the white paint job and stuff. That's going to look really cool, that stage. You guys did a great job with that. So let's go, Dave. By the way, what are people going to experience when they come to this show this Friday, the 31st of January, at Stage 119 in Elmhurst?
Well, thanks to the experience, will be hopefully transforming, kind of putting everyone right back to the late 60s, early 70s, because we are truly, I think, being very concerned about bringing this material exactly the way the guys recorded it.
Correct.
Whoop. And hello too. And so I am confident that everyone was, especially that last show, the first show we had, I was so thankful the way the audience responded to what I feel was this genuine camaraderie that we all are enjoying up there. I mean, I look back at the tape of the show from that night, and what a gas!
Pure fun.
I mean, we were just playing off each other and enjoy digging cues from everybody and eye contact, and just I just hope the audience again will get that vibe. Will appreciate the vibe that I know we're all feeling up there, which is, we're not just doing this because we want to be in another band. We're doing it because we actually love this music.
Love the music. Yeah.
We really grew up with this music, and it means a lot to us. And I really hope that the audience feels that. I think
they're going to. And like I said, most of these shows, when you go, I mean, if you're looking at Three Dog Night, it's a jukebox because they're all hits. There isn't a dead song in this. From what I got, I'm going to read them off. Let me know if you guys are going to do some of these songs. I went for number 14, Celebrate, obviously, right? It's going to be in there.
Big one.
Let's see, Eli's Coming, The Show Must Go On, Black and White, Liar, Never Been to Spain, Shambhala, Try a Little Tenderness, Mama told me not to come. I already said that. Old fashioned love song. Sun ain't go. Wait, sun as wait. Sure as I'm sitting here. Great song, and of course, Joy to the World. I mean, it got to be maybe one or two that I might have left out, but old fashioned love song, of course. Do you have a favorite? Let's go with you real fast there, Joe. Do you have a favorite out of the Three Dog Night songs?
One of the slow ones that I do in this isn't a super popular song for Three Dog Night. A Change Is Gonna Come. It was a Sam Cooke tune, I think, way back when.
Yes.
I absolutely love that song just because of the groove and the old R&B feel in it. But the songs where we're utilizing all three of us singers together, the Eli's Coming.
We forgot to mention Jeff Anthony also.
Yeah, we're doing, Jeff Anthony, phenomenal singer. Just love working with him and Dave.
Yes.
And just because I've been being a vocalist and being in bands that have always used vocal power. One of the corporate bands I work with, there's 4 singers on it, Michael Walters Orchestra. So to utilize harmonies and to work off other singers, and keep in mind, a couple guys in the band sing as well. Bobby also sings, the guitar player David, and Joe as well. So to utilize all these harmonies are fantastic, and to work off another singer. My favorite songs are always something where we're interacting with each other, that we can hear somebody's harmonies.
I wanted to mention my favorite along that line right there is One Man Band. Tony, I don't know if you mentioned that one.
Yeah, One Man Band.
Ain't no two ways about it. It's the punchiness.
Just to work with each other and utilize the harmonies and everything is it's fantastic, and it's unique. A lot of bands don't do that.
Yeah.
Could I interlude on this?
Go ahead, Jimmy.
So it's very rare that you can put 7 guys in a room together and the first time feel the magic. And that's
without killing each other. And, big point. And, you all have your different, and I don't know you all personally that well, but I know, you all have your different vibes, and some things, it's got to be very difficult. But when you have the music, that's what keeps it all going. And I think this is going to be very big for you guys. And I hope it does. Is there another Three Dog Night band anywhere that you know of?
There is.
I've looked them up online. I've looked
on the West Coast.
Okay, but see, that's good because it's only one. I mean, if you go, there's 9 Foreigners and 9 Taylor Swifts,
Fleetwood
and
Mac,
9, and 9 Beatles and 30 Beatles, and so this is good. Yeah, this is good. But it's fantastic what you guys are doing, putting this all together. What is your plan to do this? I mean, will there be obviously playing some big theaters? That's what you want to do. Mostly anything else, festivals that are coming up.
The goal is, Jim and I have talked about it for a while because I'm helping Jim with the booking because my other band, the Change of Habit Tribute Band, and I've been in the tribute world for about 25 years, as you know. We back up Elvis's, Cher, Elton John, Neil Diamond. We back up solo singers, and we're the backup band. So the tribute world has been, I've been in it 25 years, and it's powerful. It's great, and you can book it anywhere. And I book that band at theaters and casinos, featuring a singer in the band behind it. So this is just the same thing, except we're intact as one whole band. We don't have to hire a Cher or an Elton John or something. So Three Dog Night, it's going to, we're hoping, but we're pretty positive, it'll be a good seller at theaters and casinos where people are coming to hear Three Dog Night music. One whole night of Three Dog Night, as they would Taylor Swift or as they would just Journey, as opposed to a variety pop band.
Correct. And you have to be a fan. And even if you're not a fan or not a full fan, when you get there and if you get a chance to sit and listen to the band for 10, 15 minutes, you're going to go, holy cow. Like you said, we didn't know they did that song.
You're singing with us.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it turns into a sing-along, a big sing-along. And it did our very first show where Jim booked us, that very first show, and these other ones, as well as it will be this Friday. It's a sing-along. Everybody there, as soon as we
that first show was on what did we do it on a Thursday or Wednesday?
Thursday night.
Wednesday.
It was just an introduction to see the response that we would have got from our audience. We had a great response. It was, of course, it was a lot of family and friends, and it was on an off night, and we were thrilled. So this show that's coming up this Friday is more. You're going to see more of a production end. We're bringing in our own sound. We're bringing in our own lighting. We have a video montage of Three Dog Night and that whole 60s and early 70s things. The guys' costumes are a little bit more in tune, I hope. And it's just going to be more of a.
Did I miss a memo?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. Make sure right. Well, I know you guys are going to do great, and I'm telling you, the tribute thing is huge. Like I said, even with the Rat Pack thing that we've been doing, it's amazing when you can go out to Louisiana and Mississippi and places like that. You would never think that the Rat Pack would work. You know, we've got like 52 Rat Pack shows booked already for 2025. So it's the point where they're out there and people want it. And just like you said, as long as they're there to, you know, but here's one thing I got to ask as singers, or especially lyrics. How do you guys keep it going? Oh my God, I got to butcher every song I do. But the thing is, how do you keep it going? I mean, I see a lot of bands that have the monitor thing, you know, what you call the iPads. I see other professional acts doing that for years. I've seen the monitors that look like monitors, but it's actually the lyrics on there. I mean, I'm sure are you guys using any of that stuff? It really doesn't make a difference. Or do you guys memorize that? And if you do, let's start with you real quick, Dave. What's the secret of learning these lyrics if you're doing it all straight without monitors?
Well, I do confess to using a monitor for a backup. And
everybody does. Yes.
I would be I have to be true about it. But the notion is it gives you that first line, and all of us who think back about those songs that all we need is that second verse, you know, got that one little line to get you going. Or it might help just with an arrangement. It's not so much the lyrics, but what you have down there is a little bit of the arrangement to keep you in check. You know, same way a drummer, our drummer Mark, who keeps awesome charts and notes and charts, and he's referring to that, and we depend on Mark for that stability. And
he's playing the song as an excellent musician. These guys are, but to have the cheat chart until, you know, keep in mind this will be our second show, so until we really get this locked in, we'll be super comfortable. Because Tony, like yourself, playing for 40 years in thousands of songs, you have the blunders. You know, one song will sound like the other, and I thought I got it, and all of a sudden I'm singing another song. So you make up some of the lyrics. hopefully somebody doesn't hear it.
Tony, do you remember years ago, Tony, that you and I did a church thing together with Sarah, and it was. I
think I butchered the words to Ave Maria.
Yes. All the Italian people were looking back at us.
Yeah, it's amazing. And of course, I heard I had a good time that night, so that I remember. But the point I'm trying to say, I mean, it's amazing. I got a couple more questions before you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the show must go on. Tribute to Three Dog Night right here, right now, folks. Are going to be at stage 119. Who's just asked? Marianne, they're going to be at stage 119 in Elmhurst this Friday on the 31st. It's a great little venue. They're going to on about 8:30, but you might want to get there early to support my other buddy, Tony Capone, who's kicking off that show at 7 o'clock. So I hope you can go see them. And if you can't make that night, get it yourself out to the Lyric Theater in Blue Island on March 2nd. Guys, you're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. We got to do just a quick stop for the Ace Hardware Minute. That's right, folks. Brought to you by the Ace Hardware Minute is brought to you by the JRC Ace Hardware. Today's weather is for Wednesday, January 29th at 36 degrees out there, folks. Feels like it's 28. Humidity is 63%. Wind is 12 miles an hour, and the air quality is good with a little sun. That is brought to you by the Ace Minute, brought to you by JRC Ace Hardware Stores. Buying local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Ace Hardware.
Could I get all you guys to sing? Could I get all you guys to sing the Ace Hardware jingle?
Go to Ace Hardware. There's the thing. All right, now
Ace
last
is the
thing.
place.
Yeah, this is the place. All right, last thing. Tracks, live band. You see the live bands bitching and moaning about the guys using the tracks and vice versa. And I know we're going to get some shit here. But let me tell you something. My second concert I've ever seen, my first concert I seen was a band called the Bay City Rollers, and they were all live. But my second show that I seen was a band called ELO, Electric Light Orchestra. And track reel to reel was going the whole time. And this is in 1984. Oh, so let's take your take on that. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. How does that work for you really quickly? Let's start with you, Joe.
If you do it well, like Seventh Heaven does,
correct.
How do you put a hole in that? They're doing phenomenal. How do you get better than that? So if you're using it for things that you really don't have as a 4-piece, 5-piece, 6-piece, the corporate band I work with, we're a 12-piece band, but that's only 4 musicians, 4 horns, 4 basic musicians, 4 horns and 4 singers. So to add all the other stuff, he runs tracks for the dance music. If you do it well and it's something that's missing musician-wise, fantastic, do it. If you're up there booking yourself as just a one-piece band and you got the whole thing, well, then you're a track show. Okay, fantastic. There's guys making a great living doing it.
Me too. I make a great living doing that. And the funny thing, and it works. Bobby, what about you as a keyboard player? I know keyboard players, like even a keyboard player that I used to have in band, everything was tracked, and he would play the keyboard part, but all the horn part was all done by him. I seen Tom Jones live at the Hard Rock, 2 keyboard players. That's it.
Yeah.
And a drummer.
Wow. So
that's
my
Tom Jones.
is
Whatever people,
whatever people want to do. Again, our friends Seventh Heaven, some of the other bands, it's not like they're relying on the tracks. They're already a great band.
Great musicians.
And they're able to enhance their show by doing the tracks. High Infidelity chose to play it live, sing it live. So if you hear us go off the road,
but I'm talking about, we're just talking about local bands. You're talking about now. You know that almost every major live band out there,
right?
Like the last Kiss tour, I guarantee you, Paul Stanley wasn't singing.
Yeah. So interesting enough, Tony, during the Dave Mason tour, I asked him if he wanted me to sample some stuff, some of the vocals. And we were sitting watching. The band before us was John Kay and Steppenwolf.
Okay.
And he said, I don't know. It's unreliable. We're a 5-piece rock band. I mean, and as he said that, the computer went down. So we only heard the wolf going on. And then this poor guy was up there strumming his guitar with nothing else going on. He says, and Dave said to me, see what I mean, man? I'm like, oh, you got me.
Okay.
So, but hopefully those niches don't happen.
Right.
Joe once said to me with the karaoke music, he says, I like it because I get to play with whatever band I want to. I sing whatever song I want to. I don't have to teach the band.
In any key. If
I'm
not in any key, lower the freaking key.
Right. So there's the pros and cons, and hopefully people just really see that as entertainment, that we're all entertainers. And if you really watched some of these bands, regardless of tracks or not, if you're enjoying the show, that was the point of it.
If they can pull it all off live, like a lot of bands do, and do it great and fill it, fantastic. If you need a track, it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah.
I mean, we opened for Rick Springfield. The first song, he wasn't singing. He wasn't nowhere near his mic. But you heard.
Well, now the singing's a different thing. The singing's a different thing.
That's a different thing too, right? But it's amazing, and I remember we did a couple shows with R. Kelly. This was years ago, and they hired me as he came out and he was doing a Sam Cooke tribute, and that's when you said that song, "The Change Is Going to Come." That's what he opened up with. But he and they did the African American Music Awards, the Soul Train Music Awards. So he came in on the Thursday. They only had me to come out with a tuxedo, Italian-looking guy with a tuxedo, and hold one of those mics, those old-fashioned mics, with a cigar, and introduce him as Sylvester Kelly, which was his real name, Sylvester. But the rehearsal, they went 2 days before to do sound check, and everything was on the computer. The guitar player there's a laptop right next to him. He hit the laptop. The only guy playing live was the drummer. It was amazing me because even these acts like Cher or these acts, there's no way, I don't know about Cher so much, but Lady Gaga, these guys, when you're doing these dance things, how do you keep the breath and move and all that and keep right? There's got to be something there. We're not crazy, but the people, as long as they care, they just look at the audience. I mean, they see the band. That's all they care about, technically, right? It's the musician who's not working is the big guy, the one who's bitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
in the same
hey,
breath,
I'm not working. How come he's getting all the work, right?
but in the same breath, and I'm sure every musician and every singer, everybody who's in a band, I remember being out in Ocean City with my other band, Change of Habit, and at that point we were a 9-piece band, okay. And in the lounge after our show, we went to see these 2 guys playing, and it was all tracks. They were great, fantastic, but everybody in the audience is, what a fantastic band. Listen how full they are. And we're like, okay, this is where
because
it's like,
people see with their eyes.
yes,
Look, Joe, with your tribute act that you have all those guys that come on, when they look, some of them look just like the character or very close to the character. They see with their eyes, and that's what it works. But the main point is you're coming out on the 31st of January. You're going to go to stage 119. You're going to see the show Must Go On. You're going to see Three Dog Night. You're going to support Chicago talent, which we need to do, and support local establishments, which we need to do, and keep it going. And I know you guys are busy guys, and we're just going to leave you with one last question. 2020 came. News came on. Something called COVID, flu, whatever you want to look at it, whatever it is. We're out of work for 2 weeks. What was your first thought, Joe? Like, you're all musicians now, mind you. Okay? Like for me, I was off for 2 weeks. What was your thought? Really quick. We'll start with Bobby.
Okay. My thought was buy more property, buy more houses. And then just support. Really, we went to support our club owners too, because if they're gone, we're gone, you guys. So we went and did some podcasts at some of the clubs. I think you probably did the same thing, Tony.
But Bobby, what's good thing with you guys is when you have another. What's good about you, I think you guys also have another income. You have another job as well, which is great. Some people like us musicians, like me, this is all I did. So there was restaurants who did not close. We still worked, and people still came out. So let's go to you, Joe. What about you?
Well, a lot of my singer friends were doing podcasts and things, and then taking donations and that type of thing. I was contemplating that, and I chose not to do that. Luckily enough, I had money in the savings, and like with Bobby here, I had my construction to fall back on, flipping homes, remodeling, whatever. And I just waited it out. I chose not to do any podcasts and things like that. And luckily enough, I had something else to fall back on, which is how our father taught us. We're full-time musicians all our life. We've been in this business forever, since we were kids. But you got to have something else to fall back on in case something like that happens. And luckily enough, we did.
God bless with you. And let's go with you, Dave. You had a lot of projects that you were singing with. You were out there. I mean, what was your first thought? Holy shit. Now, first we were thinking, hey, 2 weeks. Okay, I can get some rest, kick back, but then all of a sudden, blah, blah, blah. So what was your take on it, Dave?
I remember I was devastated because, Generation is a rock band a rock and soul band that I have on especially the summer circuit. But I can recall February and March of 2020. Little did we know that it would be our last live date for a while, because we depend especially on the summertime for the majority of the work for Generation. So I think Tailgaters was the last one in March, and then boom, it hit like what, the 18th, 17th.
It was more than 2 weeks.
It's certainly.
My band was unemployed for a good year. We lost tons of shows.
Tons of work. And like our show, it was amazing. Yeah, but it's amazing. And that's what I never understood. Because with Chicago, everything was closed. You couldn't do this. You had to get a shot or whatever that garbage was. But the point I'm trying to say is they shut everything down. But in the city of Chicago, I think when I had Jimmy on the show, we talked about this. Everything was down, but Lollapalooza was coming to the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
And they kept it open for 4 days, 150,000 people each night coming in. That was okay. The hypocrites of the town that it was, this, right? And then another section, Wrigley Field was half closed. Well, certain seats, remember, you could sit at, but Guns N' Roses is coming to town for 2 nights. Let's just open everything up and say, let's let them come in.
Yeah.
Tony, I'll tell you what was open, and it was a
Yes.
highlight for me in the dreaded summer of 2020. I was also singing that year and for a few years in Paul Revere's Raiders.
Yes. Okay.
And it was an awesome show. It was a fun gig, and here we had dates planned that were just all fall to the wayside in 2020, except Deadwood. And
they said,
Deadwood,
"How
South
with it?"
Dakota,
Right?
Deadwood, South Dakota, and it's all mask up here. And I didn't fly there. We chose, we all drove and to get there, and sound check. The crew, all of us, masks and such, because we came from this environment. And you look out in the crowd, venue fills up in Deadwood, the street, and not a mask to be found. I mean, it was just like nothing happened, It was a whole different world, but it got the Raiders to play that summer, and
Yeah.
and then later in the fall.
It was kind of weird because I was still working in Wisconsin, which didn't close. I
No.
was still working in Florida, which didn't close, and the places were packed. There was a place here in Chicago that I worked that didn't close. There was one, I won't even mention the name of the place, but on New Year's Eve on 2020, there was 2,000 people on New Year's Eve. So I guess it just goes to show you whatever it is. But the point is, we're talking about now, things have changed. People are coming out. God bless the live entertainments out there. But guys, you have to admit, the live music has changed a lot in the clubs. I mean, you've seen it. It's, I don't know why. Is it the new generation not grasping the live thing? Is that what it is, in your opinion?
Myself personally, me and Bobby, we've had this talk. What's going to happen when our 50 and over audience is gone? You don't see the 20, 25, 30-year-old kids. They don't have first of all, they don't have the money to spend if they're not living in their parents' house.
Well, it depends what town you live in. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, right. And the other things is like, I don't see much young talent coming up. I go out to the bars all the time and I look at the bands. It seems like they're all middle-aged, 35, 40, 50, 55, 60, 70-year-old guys up there on the stage.
Yeah. That's what makes my living, guys. I'm telling you, I work Wednesday through Sunday. I work 5 nights a week, and I see people out there, and I'm going. But I'm going to tell you one thing they did said to me. When that whole COVID thing, and everybody was locked in their homes, and they thought maybe they weren't going to get out of this, some of these older people said to me, ever since they opened up everything again, I'm going out every night. I'm not going to ever have to be in that situation again. And, they're coming to these places we're at. Jim goes there, it. Drinks are $16, $17. Some are $18. I'm not going to mention a place, but it's $24 for an old fashioned.
Yeah.
$24 for an old fashioned.
Talking about my house.
Packed every night of the week. So we just look, we're very fortunate and blessed to be playing music for a living. And what you guys have been doing for many, many years. I admire everything you guys done. I know we don't know each other that well. We don't cross paths that well. But when I heard you guys were doing this and I hooked up with Jimmy and he talked to me about this is fantastic. One more time, show must go on. 3 Dog Night. It's going to happen this Friday, January 31st at the Stage 119 Elmhurst. $10 to get in. You can't buy anything for $10.
You can't beat it.
And you can see, Tony Capone starting it off at 7, great guy. And then these guys will hit the stage at 8:30. And then, of course, don't forget, check them out at the Lyric Theater in Blue Island on March 2nd. If they need to book you guys, what do they do? Who do you call? Give you a number. What's the website?
The website is showmustgoonchicago.com.
Very simple. Thank you guys very much. Well, again, let's give it up again for Jim Palucci. Champ, thank you so much. Dave Huizenga, thank you. And the Scumaci brothers, it's like the Batman and Robin of Chicago right there. They're fantastic. You guys will have to decide who's Batman and who's Robin, but you guys, I've heard of you guys for years and everything you guys done. I just Love what you guys do. All of you. God bless you all.
Thanks.
Very much.
God
So
bless.
much
Tony.
go on. Thank you, guys. Peace and love.
Thank you.
God bless
Peace.
you guys.
Peace.
How cool is that, guys? How cool is that? I love it. We got it. The Scamacci brothers here, all on one room. We got Dave Huizenga, Generations, all the great bands he's been. Paul Revere and the Raiders. James, of course, James Bellucci. Thank you, James, for putting it all together. You got to love it, man. That's what I mean. I love having different show acts on. I love people coming on, talking about what they do. And that's what it's about. It's called music. Three Dog Night. The show must go on. Joy to the world. Son, sure as I'm sitting here, old-fashioned love song. Mama told me not to come. Try a little tenderness. Celebrate. Shambhala. Old-fashioned love song. Never been to Spain. Black and White. Liar. One-man band. What is the loneliest number that you'll ever? You got to see them. They're going to be great. The show must go on. You're watching Ocean's Pit, a little show about big things. Tomorrow, lovely Laura Ocean will be joining us for very little because she's got some stuff she has to do. But Friday, Mike Braclieri and Tracy, of course, of the Taylor Swift Experience, Are You Ready? Will be joining us, folks. Man, I'm in a good mood, especially when we're talking about music. And we love great music, and that's what it's all about. But we also want to thank sponsors who always take on this particular show that always with us. Armando Supermarkets, 925 Liberty Street in Elgin, Illinois. Buy local, shop local. And Crash Champions, Mike and Gigi. Crash Champions Collision Auto Repair for all your collision auto repair needs. Go to crashchampions.com. And let's not forget our good friends, my good buddy Tommy Vena. So we talked a little longer, so I couldn't get all the sponsors in, but I will get them in. Here it is. Jack Vena Landscaping. They offer monthly maintenance programs, bush trimming, spring, fall cleanup, bed mulching, fertilizing, weed control. They do it all. 44 years they've been servicing the North Shore. Call Tommy at 847-432-5266. That's Jack Vena Landscaping. And let's talk about Airtight Windows. If you're looking for new windows and you want it done right, do it right with Airtight. For honesty, quality, dependability, do it right with Airtight. Serving Chicagoland for 35 years, do it right with Airtight Windows. Louis Pipes at 708-798-5000. Tell them Tony O sent you. Boy, so much. Isn't it great when you just have great musicians and they talk and just about great songs? And Three Dog Night had some great songs. We're running out of time, folks. Don't have much to talk about, but we do have a couple things here. CNN and NBC are having massive layoffs. Almost over 100 people will be laid off by the end of the week. This is CNN and NBC. Could be interesting that happens with that. Joe Montana, for all you football fans, folks, is being brought back to the San Francisco 49ers as a co-owner. I always loved Joe Montana, one of my favorite quarterbacks from the 49ers. So very, very cool on that. I'm just going to go through some stuff that I didn't get a mention. For you boxing fans out there, Logan Paul will face Jake Paul. I don't like either of them. But hey, it is what it is. It's going to happen on March 20th on Cinemax. I'm sure that's going to make someone's going to pay millions of dollars for these two idiots, two brothers, to hit each other. So it is what it is if you get into that, but it should be interesting. I don't know. It drives me crazy. We were just talking about baseball on yesterday's show. To become you get put into the Baseball Hall of Fame, you have to get votes. And the one of the only guys that got into the Hall of Fame with 100% vote is, of course, just got put in the Hall of Fame. The greatest closing pitcher of all time, Mariano Rivera, came in with 100%. Derek Jeter went in at 99.7%. But this is the first Major League Baseball player to come in first choice, 100%, Mariano Rivera. Love it. One of my favorite guys. Also, folks, on the 28th of January in 1986, we're still remembering the Space Shuttle Challenger. Horrible. 73 seconds, liftoff, destroyed. 7 astronauts were killed. A memory that we don't want to remember. But we got to acknowledge stuff like that because that is history, folks. Believe it or not. We were talking about the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs. We're talking about some referees right now that are being looked into, supposedly of some scandal going on with the referees. I don't know, but people are saying, is it happening? Because if you have someone like a Taylor Swift, for instance, who took Kansas City Chiefs fan base and they added 30-40% more people started watching because she was part of the team, of course, dating Travis Kelce, whatever his name is. And some of these refs, are they wondering to make sure they get Kansas City in there to get the younger generations of people to watch the game? I don't know if that's the case. Football is football, you know what I mean? But cheating is wrong. But I think ever since, I think we talked about this before, ever since the betting thing got on there, it's just crazy. So we're going to have to see what happens at the Super Bowl. All right. Anyway, folks, yesterday I got a chance, I had off yesterday, so I went to go see Flight Risk, me and my buddy Dave Antilli. It was a great movie with Mark Wahlberg. Usually Mark Wahlberg plays always a hero or the nice guy. He played a very cool, I'm not going to tell you the story, but he played a cool, mean guy, crazy mean guy, actually, on a plane. So go see it if you ever get a chance. Tonight we'll be at Rosario's in Roselle. That's a 7 o'clock hit. Me and Double T, Tony Toto. Tomorrow, Positano's in Oak Brook with Jerry Jams and return of Lisa P. Don't forget Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse. Saturday will be Bellagio in Roselle with the main event band. That's Jerry Jams and Tony Toto. I get a chance to say hello to people today. There's Danny. You doing? Jerry Jams, Richard Hamlin. Happy belated birthday to my buddy Dave. How you doing, Dave? There's Jam, Kathy Splato, Arizona. Boyd, whatever it takes. I agree with you. I didn't get a chance to answer anybody's question here. There's Carol Brandolino. Carol, how you doing? Twisted Tuesday. Danny, thank you, buddy, for your kind words. Everybody for watching today. We really do appreciate it. There's Mike Bucgliari. There's Robin. Anyway, guys, Robert Provenzano. Don't forget, guys, to download that. Go check them out. The great band. The show must go on with their tribute to Three Dog Night. Other shows we got coming up. 52 more days till the cruise, everybody. And 1 week from yesterday, Laura Ocean goes under the knife. So hopefully tomorrow she'll be able to come on for a few minutes. And maybe we'll get her on one day next week before her last podcast with us before she goes has her surgery. A couple other gigs coming up. This February 6th will be at Zaza's in Lake Barrington. On the 8th will be at Taverna on Division. The 14th will be, that's sold out at 115 Bourbon Street in Marionette Park. That show is completely sold out. Standing room only on the 14th with Ocean's Rat Pack. The 19th will be at the Tap House Grill in Lamont for the homeless, concert for the homeless. Me, Stephanie, I'll be there as your MC, Tony Toto, Stephanie Lemon Braniger, Lulu Sylvester, Nick Sahajas, the great John Vincent, Ron Starr. That's going to happen on the 19th at the Tap House Grill in Lamont. On the 22nd of February, we'll be at Pier 290 in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. That is an Ocean's Rat Pack show. Also, the 27th February will be at Ron Onesti's Club Arcada Speakeasy. It's a Thursday night with Ocean's Rat Pack. It's a dinner and a show. But then I'll be there by myself February 15th and 16th. 15th with the main event band. It's a Saturday night, oshows.com. And then we'll be there on Sunday, on the 16th for Sinatra Sunday. oshow.com for all the tickets at Ron Onesti's Club Arcada Speakeasy. And Tony Ocean, the main event band, are proud to be opening for the great Engelbert Humperdinck coming up April 8th at the Displays Theater, oshows.com. Guys, we got to go. We got more stuff to talk about tomorrow. Remember, buy local, shop local, support local establishments, support live entertainment. We need it out there, folks. And again, let's thank our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Red Hot buy for the month of January. Only got 2 days left. Wild Bird Food 40-pound bag is only $18.99. Make sure your car is winter ready for peak windshield wash. 1 gallon size is $1 off through January 31st. And cold weather calls for cold weather gear. We have a large selection of Carhartt gear from hats, gloves, warm-up, hoodies, winter jackets, all 30% off. That's Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Download the Ace Rewards app. Easy way to keep track of points, coupons, and special offers. Guys, thank you guys so much. Again, thank our good friends from the show must go on. Make sure you check out a great band, a tribute to Three Dog Night. As Ringo Starr says, peace and love. See you tonight at Rosario's, everybody. God bless you. Have an incredible day. Nixa Hodges, take us out. Bye-bye.
Time to go, it's the end of the show. See you later from town.